Here we go, and we should be live. Today, it's another Friday, so you already know what that means. We're back again with another tier list stream, and this tier list stream might go down as my favorite one I've ever done. We've been doing these tier list streams now for a little bit. You guys genuinely love them, so I'm like, you know what, since you guys like them so much, I'm just going to keep doing them. There's so many different things I like to do and discuss with all these tier lists. There's so many different things to talk about. And a lot of the ones we've done so far, I've kind of already mapped out in my head, you could say. For instance, when we did the Frigabax Shiny Hunt, we had so much time to just talk and think about stuff. We kind of ranked all the starter Pokemon, pseudo-legendary Pokemon, legendary Pokemon, just kind of like talking about it. We didn't really put them down on an actual thing. So that's what we did with some of the first couple of tier lists I did. We did pseudo-legendaries, we did legendaries and mythicals, we did starters, we did all those different ones. But this one here is something that I am genuinely shocked that I've never actually thought about before. Now, as you guys most likely know, I love Pokemon cards. I like Pokemon cards so much. It's probably my favorite aspect of Pokemon. You think with Pokemon, you have like the anime, the manga, the cards, the games, the plushies, the merchandise, the toys, all this different stuff. My favorite thing in all of Pokemon is the cards. And I've made a bunch of videos of some of my best cards in my collection, some of my best sealed products in my collection, some of my favorite cards I have. I've opened up a whole bunch of products and stuff. Like, I've done so much with cards. And I've talked a lot about the history of a lot of different really cool Pokemon cards. Because I like looking back at all the different eras, as I like to refer to it as, of Pokemon. You had like the original base set era, or like black and white era, or like the Scarlet and Violet era we're in right now. I like looking back at all these different eras, and I like them all so much. And then shout out to you guys, because you guys in the chat are the ones that came up with this idea. You said during the last tier list stream, the next one you should do is ranking all the Pokemon sets. Now, I'm not doing every single set. I'm doing each era of Pokemon cards. Now, in the beginning, I kind of split it up, and there are some couple sections that are a little, like, I don't want to say weird, but, like, you guys will understand once we get to it. But for the most part, we're going to be ranking every single era of Pokemon cards. Every generation there of Pokemon, there's obviously a new generation of Pokemon cards. What they've been doing recently is, or not recently, for like the majority of it, is they implement something new, whether it be V cards, uppercase EXs, lowercase EXs, level Xs, all these different things. They add in something like this into the TCG, and it's so cool. There's been so many cool cards over the years, and what we're going to be doing today is ranking every single era of Pokemon cards for the tier list we have here today. Just to let you guys know, tomorrow there won't be a stream, but there'll be a video of, it'll be the Munchlax Shiny Hunt video. I'm really happy with how that one came out, so I hope you guys enjoyed that going up tomorrow. Then Sunday is the day we begin the Shiny Nuzlocke in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, the one we're doing, I don't know if this is like you guys are the ones that come up with the idea for this. I'm like, I'll give you guys full credit for this. You guys came up with the idea for this. I didn't come up with the idea for how to do this, this Nuzlocke that we're gonna do. I've never seen anyone else do this before. I've done one Nuzlocke myself in Pokemon Let's Go, but for this next one, it's gonna be, I mean, I think unlike anything I've ever seen before, and I think it's gonna be a good, like, breath of fresh air, you could say, for Nuzlocke. Because in my opinion, like, I liked watching them for a little bit there. Like, I love Purple Cliff and all the stuff he did. But I like, the stuff now is kind of like, I mean, it's all, it doesn't excite me as much as it once did. The thing we're doing, this might be the most excited I've ever been to play a Pokemon game. Like, I'm more excited to do this Nuzlocke than I was to initially play Scarlet and Violet when that first came out. Like, I am so excited to do this Nuzlocke stream, but that is not going to begin until Sunday. Today, like I said, we're doing this Pokemon card tier list, and before we get into it, obviously I got to say what's up to you guys. To everyone tuning in, Mayo, thank you for tuning in. Redstone, thank you for tuning in. Mr. Meow, thank you for tuning in. Everyone else, thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Yo, Mayo, this Thursday and Friday have killed me. I've had the flu and COVID at the same time. Voice is just straight up gone. Yo, hope all is well, Mayo. I don't know if I've ever had COVID I don't think I had the flu recently. I had something where it was something with my throat. I know what you mean in the idea that you can't talk, like your voice. You guys remember it was, when was it? Was it September? I think it was September. There was a little while there where I wasn't streaming. It was like a week and a half. It was because, dude, I couldn't talk. Like, I couldn't talk. I'm like, the main thing of the streams is talking, and I can't even talk right now, so that's why I didn't stream. So I feel your mail. Hope all's well. Thank you for still taking the time to tune in. But without further ado, how about we get into this tier list here? I'll show you guys everything that we've got going on here. So here's the tier list. Oh, shoot. I gotta add the, the bonus tiers. Get rid of that. Add God tier at the top. Then below, we will go on and add F tier. I don't know if we'll have anything in F tier, but just to put it there, just for consistency among the tier lists we have done. Because for all of them, we have at the top God tier, best one. Like, God tier is for the one that's separate from all others on its own, right there at the top. Then S tier for the elite ones. A tier for the really good ones. B tier for the above average ones. C tier for the average ones. D tier for the below average ones. And then F tier for the bad ones. And down here, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different things. Man, there's 13 different eras of the Pokemon TCG. I mean, you could technically make 14. I decided to limit it to just 13. I'll explain when we get into the first one. Actually, I'll explain fully what it is. But for this one right here, I went through and I actually made this tier list myself. So normally, like, if you go on the tier list website, there's a lot of pre-made ones. That's typically what I've done for these tier lists. But for this one, I made this one myself. I went through and made all these different graphics down at the bottom here. And what I did for each one is I tried to put some of the most iconic cards from each generation / era for all of them. So going in order in which they come out, we have just the original base set one. I was like, obviously base set Charizard and base set Pikachu as well, right? Yeah, Pikachu's from I always confuse this. So there's a Pikachu and Fossil as well, but this is the original Pikachu. Or is it in Jungle? I don't know. No, that's the original Pikachu. These are the two most iconic cards I think you can say from that generation. Then the next one is Neo. Obviously, Neo Genesis Lugia. Then the Shining cards at the end. I was debating whether or not I put Shining Tyranitar or Shining Gyarados. I feel Tyranitar might be more iconic for the Shining cards, but the red Gyarados from Gen 2 is it's the epitome of shiny Pokemon. Then after that, we had the E-Reader series over here. Yes, that is technically still part of Gen 2, but it was so distinctly different than the Neo stuff, I decided to put it in its own generation. Then after that, we transition on into Gen 3 with EX Ruby and Sapphire right here. Over here, we have the Gold Star cards, and also, too, I put the EX Delta Species Salamence, highlighting not only the lowercase EX cards, but the Delta Species cards as well. That Salamence I have myself and is one of my, I think, top 5 favorite Pokemon cards of all time. Then after that, we had, this is where it gets kind of, there are a bunch of different ones here during, technically, Gen 4. There are 1, 2, 3, there's technically 4 different ones throughout Gen 4. First one being just normal Diamond and Pearl with the level X's. Then after that, you would Platinum with Giratina level X there and Articuno Secret Rare there. I put Giratina level X because level X's were still the main, like, special cards during the Platinum era. Platinum obviously came during the Pokemon Platinum game themed around Giratina. That's why it's level X Giratina. And I decided to put the Articuno there because during Platinum, that's when they added in a lot of special Secret Rare cards. For instance, in... which one is it? One of them has, like, it's the reverse hollow shinies. And then they did, like, the reprint of some Pikachus and stuff. I think Diamond and Pearl, the last Diamond and Pearl set, which was Diamond and Pearl's... Let me look this up. What was the last... I just want to make sure real quick before I make something up. It's Stormfront. Is the set I'm about to talk about. Is Stormfront Diamond and Pearl? Yeah, Diamond and Pearl Stormfront. So Diamond and Pearl Stormfront was the last set of the Diamond and Pearl era. and that is the set that contained the reprint of the base set Charizard. That's the first set they started to add in these special secret rares. Then they and it was like Diamond and Pearl, they didn't do it for all of them. Platinum, every single Platinum set had some sort of special secret rare card in it. For instance, there was Platinum Arceus at the end that had all the different Arceus cards. So that's why I included the secret rare Articuno there, just to represent all the cool special secret rare cards we had during that time. Then after that, we actually went to Heart Gold, Soul Silver with the Prime cards with that Ampharos there. Then the Legends cards with that Ho-Oh there. The Legends cards were the ones that were 2 cards made, 1 big artwork design. I have a lot to talk about Heart Gold, Soul Silver when we get to that. But then after that, we had Call of Legends. Now, here's the thing with Call of Legends. Like, this is going to be the one where it's going to be weird when we rank it, because this one right here is just one set. Although, like, technically, it is its own, like, era. You can say it's not part of Heart Gold, Soul Silver. So, it came just, like, during the transition between Diamond and Pearl / Platinum to Black and White. So, in terms of games, it was Gen 4 to Gen 5. It came between those generations. And Call of Legends, it isn't like, so the order in which the sets, it went Diamond and Pearl era, Platinum era, Heart Gold, Soul Silver era, then Black and White era, and between Heart Gold, Soul Silver and Black and White, we had this one-off set right here, Call of Legends, which was based on shiny legendary Pokemon. I will note, I pulled that Rayquaza, the most valuable card in the set. Only Pokemon card I've ever had throughout my entire life that I don't know where it is. More on that when we get to that, but I decided to include that one because it is so big and iconic, and that one will be ranked kind of weird because I might make its own tier for it as like an exception one, because it is just one set while all these other ones are entire generations of Pokemon cards. But then after Call of Legends, we got into Black and White, and over here in Black and White, where I decided to start to add more than just 2 Pokemon cards in the graphic, because Black and White had so many iconic cards and so many things it did for the TCG. For instance, it included full art cards with the full art Reshiram there. It gave us gold cards with the gold Zekrom right there. It gave us the full art trainers with full art trainer Iris right there. Then it gave us these awesome secret rare shiny Pokemon with that Hydreigon right there as well. Then after Black and White, we move on over to Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon over here is where, oh, whoa. Sun and Moon. We're not ranking you just... No, it was... Oh my god, what am I saying? After Black and White, we went X and Y. My bad. Then in X and Y, I put the Megas there. You guys know I love Megas so much. Mega EXs. Uppercase EXs gave us super cool full arts as well. Megas, there were those break cards as well. Those things are so bad, I don't want to include them. Megas I like so much, so I decided to include a full art Mega and my favorite Mega card, the Mega Charizard X. Then after X and Y, we had Sun and Moon. In Sun and Moon is where we had GX cards. It gave us Hidden Fates, the first like of these Fates shiny, like we have Paldean Fates, Shining Fates. Hidden Fates was the first one, so I included the Charizard right there, one of the most iconic Pokemon cards of all time. And also it introduced us to Rainbow Rare Pokemon cards, and I did also too, at the end they gave us these Tag Team cards, so that's why I included that right there as well, that Tag Team Rainbow Rare card. Then after Sun and Moon, we went on to, Sword and Shield, but I'm just making it, since I messed up from Black and White to X and Y, I just had to make sure. Then the most recent one, Sword and Shield. This one I included 4 cards because of how many awesome cards there are in here. Obviously, you have the alt art cards worth that Giratina V alt art. It's V cards with the special cards in this era. Had to put the Giratina V alt art there. Had to add Moonbreon, sorry, I said that weird. The most valuable Pokemon card you could pull out of a pack since, I think, back in like the Black and White era with the shiny Charizard out of one of those sets. Obviously, the Charizard VMAX right there. VMAX cards, the Gigantamax Pokemon are super iconic from that. Charizard was a big one at the start with the Darkness Ablaze VMAX Charizard, the Rainbow Rare VMAX Charizard, and Shiny Charizard V from Champion's Path. And then this Charizard VMAX from Shining Fates had to include that in there. Then at the end, they ended up giving us a lot of these trainer artwork cards, so that's why I included the Pikachu VMAX right there with red on it, and also too I included that card because that Pikachu looks very similar, if not the exact same artwork for the Pikachu as the one from Vivid Voltage, which was a very, very popular and iconic card from that generation as well. Then the most recent one, Scarlet and Violet. We have Scarlet and Violet here with the special illustration art EXs right there. With I kind of combined a lot of these within these cards here. I was able to make it real nice and concise. With the Roaring Moon EX, we have not only the lowercase EX cards, but we also have the special illustration art cards, and then on top of that, we have the ancient cards representing that we now have the ancient cards as the past ones and the future ones as the other form of the Paradox Pokemon. Sorry, I should have used that phrase instead. Then we have the Charizard EX Dark Terra type card. I love these cards so much. Had to include that one right there. That's my favorite one that's been released so far. And also to highlight that it's the lowercase EX cards and also the terastallizing Pokemon cards, which is just, I mean, again, they are so phenomenal. Then the waifu cards. Had to include those in there as well. But that is all of the generations. So now, without further ado, let's get into ranking these things right here. Let me first go in and look, and make sure the audio is good. Obviously, we got to do the check, audio check here. Make sure everything's good to go. Check, audio check here. Make sure everything's good to go. Everything is perfect. Yo, oh my gosh. I have exactly 300 videos on my channel right now. That's wild. 300? Man, yo, everyone that's ever watched my videos, thank you so much. That's a lot. But nonetheless, that's not just videos. That's like streams, shorts, videos, everything combined. But nonetheless, we're going to get off on a tangent there talking about that stuff. Let's get into the tier list here. I mean, this is the most excited I've ever been for a tier list. I am so excited to do this one. And if I'm being honest, I don't know how I'm going to rank this. And I know I've said this before for a couple of other tier lists, but normally for the other tier lists, I at least know, like, what's the worst one and what's the best one. As I sit right now, I don't know what's the best one. If I'm being completely honest, I don't know what's the worst one. All the ones in the, like, there's so many, like, they're all good. They're all good. There aren't any that are like bad. I think you can say so. This is gonna be a fun tier list. I am really excited to get into this. And starting off, we have base set. Now, base set here, I'm including base set, Jungle, Fossil, Team Rocket, and Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge. Now, I'm honestly not positive about this, but I personally believe that I think, if I'm not mistaken, that Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge are technically their own, like, era, you can say. I personally believe they're a part of the original base set line. Like, I don't consider them, like, a second different thing. They only include Gen 1 Pokemon. They came before Neo, so in my opinion, they are part of the original base set ones. That's one thing I wanted to mention and include. I said you could make this 14. We only have 13 different eras right here. I said you could do 14, and the 14th one would have been if you had Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge as their own. We did end up getting the VS Versus series for the e-reader cards only in Japanese, so maybe that you could have said would have tied into that, but I felt like that would have been an e-reader set nonetheless. So I don't think Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge are their own era. I personally believe that they are part of just the original base set line. And with this one, like, if I am being completely honest, in terms of if I were to go based on my own opinion, just simply about these cards right here from this first generation, first era, I would put them in A tier because, dude, during, like, the pandemic, when Pokemon was getting all that hype and stuff, I was so sick of seeing people open up base set 2, legendary collections, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge, like Jungle Fossil. Like, I felt like I just saw so much of it. I'm like, dude, I'm just sick of it now at this point. Plus, you had, like, evolutions on top of that with a lot of those cards as well. Like, I was just simply sick of, honestly, just mainly base set. And then the other sets, it was like, base set was the big one that hard carries. And then all the other ones are, like, good, but they're not, like Jungle is, like, not over the top, in my opinion. Jungle's good, but it's, like, it's not crazy. But we have to acknowledge what this era did, right? This is the original base set of Pokemon. It is the most valuable Pokemon sets of all time, it contains the most valuable Pokemon set of all time with the original base set, has the most valuable Pokemon card of all time with the base set Charizard, the most reprinted card, I believe, of any Pokemon card. We've seen so many different variations of that card over the years. It's absolutely unreal. And one of the big things, too, is these cards, like, we were talking about the games the other day. The Pokemon games, the original Red and Blue Pokemon games, like, they're not, like, the best. And it's good that the other stuff has gotten better over the years, and it's good that those are the worst games because it shows that stuff's improved. Now, I'm not talking about that with the same idea here because, like, those are games compared to cards. Like, cards don't change that. It's still, like, pieces of cardboard that are, like, look cool. The games, it was, like, it's a drastic difference between the games back then to the games now. Here, we look at the cards from back then, and these things still hold up to this day. Like, these are still, like, you look at the cards from this era, these are some of the best Pokemon cards ever made. So I would put them in A tier because just simply like I'm not the biggest fan of these sets. Like, I have some cards, like I have a first edition Hollow Snorlax. I have a first edition Hollow Dragonite from Fossil. The Snorlax is from Jungle. I'm trying to look over on my shelf what else I have. I don't think I have anything else out on display. I think the rest is mainly in my binder from the original stuff. But like, I'm not the biggest fan of these myself. So if it was based on just simply my own enjoyment out of the sets, it'd be A tier. Although, respecting what this set is, these sets are, and what they did, and most importantly, how they hold up to this day, like, it can't be anything below S tier. A lot of people probably would put it God tier. For me, I don't think it's the best. Like, base set's really good, but, like, I don't think base set's the best set of all time, for instance. One day, I might do a tier list of every Pokemon set. Here, we're just looking at the eras as a whole, like I said. And, I mean, it's really good. Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge has a lot of really cool cards. Sabrina's Gengars are so awesome. All of Blaine's Pokemon are phenomenal as well. Then you look at, like, the jungle stuff with the, like, Snorlax is my favorite one out of there. You have Jolteon and Pidgeot. Then in Fossil, you have Gengar. You have Aerodactyl. You have Dragonite. Then obviously base set, you have, like, Alakazam, the starters, all kinds of awesome stuff. And I feel like people like this so much because, like, when it comes to collecting Pokemon, people just want the stuff that was the first. And I mean, to be fair, a lot of people really do have, like, legit nostalgia for this. And, like, I mean, I understand that. So that's why it's, like, so popular. And, like, it's the first one. Like, obviously it's going to be the most popular one. It's the first Pokemon set of all time is contained in here. These are the first sets of all time. Like, when I'm talking about, I'm mainly just talking about base set because that's the biggest one from this era, but it can't be anything below S tier. The original base set line is just, it's what started it all. And to this day, those cards still hold up, are some of the coolest cards of all time. Anytime we see the cards from these sets reprinted into stuff today, people go absolutely crazy for it. And that just goes to show just how iconic and special those sets are. But getting into the next one here, we will move on now to the Neo era. Down here, this one, right here, Neo with the Neo Genesis Lugia and Neo Revelation Shining Gyarados. Now, this era was only made up of 4 different sets. We had Neo Genesis to start, then Neo... Hang on, I always mix it up. Neo Genesis, Neo Discovery, Revelation, and Destiny. I always mix up, Discovery and Revelation. Discovery, so Neo Genesis had obviously the starters. It had Lugia in it, though. That was like the big stuff from Genesis. Then Neo Discovery had stuff like Tyranitar is the big chase card, I'm pretty sure, or the best card in that set, and that it introduced like the pseudo-legendary from that. I think it's cool too how both Gen 1 and Gen 2, we got introduced to the pseudo-legendary in the second set. I do like that small detail right there. The third set was based around Entei, Suicune, and Raikou, the 3 beasts, or dogs, if you may. And then also, too, it contained the first ever shiny Pokemon cards. Again, this is Neo Revelation, the third set from this era. It had the Shining Magikarp and Shining Gyarados. Obviously, the Shining Gyarados is included right there. The Red Gyarados from Lake of Rage, the first ever shiny Pokemon card. I made a video on that card alone. I like that thing so much. And this era right here is just so cool and iconic. I love the name Neo, too. It sounds so cool. First sets that contain Gen 2 Pokemon. I've always said, once I hit 1,000 subscribers, my 1,000 subscribers celebration, you could say, is I'm going to open up a Japanese Neo Genesis pack. The Neo Genesis Japanese packs, or any Japanese pack for the old packs, guarantee a hollow pull, so I'm going to open up one of those. They're kind of expensive, like over $100, maybe even up to like $200 now at this point, and I've never been able to justify opening up one pack that costs that much. Like, I'd be cool with buying a pack and keeping it sealed in my collection, but to open it up, I've never been able to justify doing that. I'm like, you know what? If we hit 1,000 subscribers to celebrate that, I think that's a good justification for opening something like that up. So I'm hoping we might pull that Lugia when we open up one of those packs one day. I have that Lugia in my collection. Lugia, you guys know, is my favorite legendary, one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. And the Neo era is really, really cool. First introduced the shiny Pokemon with the shining cards. It is absolutely phenomenal. Man, this is hard. This tier list here. It's not God tier. It's either S or A. And honestly, I'm going to put it in S. I'm going to put it in S because I'm going to put it in S above the original base set era for one main reason. Neo Destiny is a top 3 Pokemon set of all time. Yo, Tomato, thank you for tuning in. Neo Destiny, the final set of the Neo era, is one of the best Pokemon sets of all time. So if someone wants to argue it's the best, I probably would be cool with that. It is so good. It contains not only phenomenal holo cards from Gens 1 and 2, of Pokemon from Gens 1 and 2. Only set to ever contain light Pokemon. First set to ever contain... Ooh, no, it might not be the first set to ever contain dark Pokemon, because I think there was a dark Raichu in a... or earlier set, but contained dark Pokemon, one of the only sets to contain, first set to contain dark Pokemon in the normal set. Had shining Pokemon, second ever set to contain shining Pokemon, and the first one was, obviously Neo Revelation, the set before with Magikarp and Gyarados. In Neo Destiny, we had Tyranitar, Noctowl. Ooh, Golem had one, right? Tyranitar? No, here, I'll go with the ones I know. Tyranitar, Noctowl, Charizard, Mewtwo, Celebi. Did Golem have one? I know Golem has a crystal card. I want to get all these right. We said Tyranitar, Charizard, Celebi, Mewtwo, Noctowl. I like that Noctowl one too, man. I might want to get that one day. Kabutops, that's who I'm thinking of. Kabutops, not Golem. So the shining cards from this era, or from this set, Neo Destiny: Celebi, Charizard, Kabutops, Tyranitar, Steelix, Raichu, Noctowl, Mewtwo. 8 shining cards from that set. You had Dark Ampharos, one of my favorite cards of all time. Dark Gengar, Dark Feraligatr, Dark Tyranitar, Dark Typhlosion. Light Pokemon as well. Light Azumarill, Light Dragonite. All these other awesome cards as well. it was just, it was a special set. It was a special set. One of the best sets of all time, in my opinion. So because of that, I think, I put Neo Destiny above original base set, in my opinion. I think it's that good. So that's why the Neo era is going to go above the original era for me. Shiny Pokemon cards are just so cool. I love Lugia so much. Honestly, I don't really like the original Mewtwo card that much. I love the original Lugia card, though. Oh, no, it reloaded. You guys know I love Mewtwo and Lugia. Those are my top two favorite Pokemon, legendary Pokemon of all time. And the Lugia card I like way better than the Mewtwo card. So that's another reason as well as to why I'm putting it in that order there. So I do think the Neo era is most definitely above the original base set era, in my opinion, because it has more variety. The original base set era, I mean, to be fair, it is base set, and they didn't want to add any special cards then. It was just holo cards, but the stuff Neo added in was just so cool and so iconic, and was something that wasn't even continued on afterwards. Yeah, shiny Pokemon would come back in the TCG, but shining Pokemon, we wouldn't see again until Shining Legends, right? Which was during Sun and Moon. It was crazy how long it took for us to get those cards back. And it wasn't even they came back and were a staple thing. They came back in a one-off set, and it was just, we haven't seen them again since. So those cards are so cool. I love the Neo era so very much. But the era that comes after that is just, I mean, on a different level. The e-reader era. For those that don't know, the e-reader era is what capped off Wizards of the Coast for the Pokemon TCG. Wizards of the Coast was the company that made the original base set line of Pokemon cards. They made the Neo era, and then they finished with the e-reader series. The e-reader series had 3 different sets. It began with Expedition. Then what followed was Aquapolis. Then the final set was Skyridge. I will note, there's too many rumors about this for it not to be true. There was meant to be a fourth set. There was meant to be another one after Skyridge called Jamboree, if I'm not mistaken. Let me tell you guys. I don't even know if these exist. If cards exist from Jamboree, no one knows. No, you'd have to probably talk to someone that's a high up Wizards of the Coast employee back then. And Wizards of the Coast weren't really, they were going like down the drain. Like they weren't doing good business wise back then. It's one of the reasons I believe why Nintendo ended up taking over, or it might have been afterwards Nintendo took over and then Wizards of the Coast started to do bad. But nonetheless, like, there's not very much information about this at all. I think people the name Jamboree might have been just like the code name for it as it was being made. That might not even have ended up being the official set name. But like, if there are cards from that set, dude, that is the holy grail of Pokemon cards. No doubt about it. That is more valuable than any base set first edition PSA 10 Charizard. I mean, more valuable than a Crystal Lugia from Aquapolis. More valuable than any other Pokemon card in existence, in my opinion. If there's actual cards from Jamboree, that would be, like, I couldn't even fathom what those... I mean, it would obviously be e-reader cards once again, but like, would they have included crystal cards in there? Because crystal cards were in Skyridge and Aquapolis, the last two sets of e-readers, so why would they have just dropped those off? Like, what were the other crystal cards we could have gotten? A Crystal Mewtwo? Like, could you have imagined something like that? It would have been, it would have been Crystal Gyarados? Like, oh my gosh, dude, I don't even know what it could have been. Tyranitar? It would have been so awesome, but nonetheless, we didn't get that, but the sets we did get were phenomenal. Expedition is, I think, the oldest set I opened in real time. And when I say real time, I mean when this set was out and available to buy. I did open a first edition Neo Genesis pack in English, and I pulled a Hollow Steelix out of it. But I got that in a product that was like, so, how should I describe this? So, from the transition between one era to the next. So, for instance, we have the end of Sword and Shield and the beginning of Scarlet and Violet. Actually, no, I don't think they did this for Scarlet and Violet. That was a bad example. From the transition between Sun and Moon to Sword and Shield, if you were to buy, if those that recall when Sword and Shield first started, there was the starter tins. It was Grookey tins, Sobble tins, and Score Bunny tins. I was thinking Rabifoot. That's his name in Japanese. Score Bunny tins. Those three. And if you buy that, so it is a Sword and Shield era product. It has Sword and Shield base packs in it, but it also contained some packs from Sun and Moon because that was the previous era and they still had stuff, so they just threw it in that product. They did the same thing, I believe, for Neo era. So I ended up acquiring some product that had a first edition Neo Genesis pack in it, and I opened it up, and it was the Hollow Steelix, which I still have to this day. But that was like, I didn't open that up like during the Neo era. That was after the fact. It was thrown in some other product down the line. The first products I started to open up were from the e-reader era. Expedition. I have a non-hollow Expedition Charizard that it was my favorite card I had when I was younger, and I still have it to this day. It's in horrible condition, but I still have it. It's like the card I remember the most from when I was younger, and it's one of my favorite cards in my collection because of that. I mean, Expedition contained some phenomenal holo cards, had the Kanto starters, all kinds of awesome Pokemon. There was Mewtwo's in there. There was like the legendary birds were scattered throughout these sets. All kinds of legendary Pokemon were in them. There were so many awesome cards from all of these sets. I believe Expedition has a cool Tyranitar as well, if I'm not mistaken. So many cool cards in there. Expedition's good, but it's without a doubt the worst of the three e-reader sets. Because the other two sets contain crystal cards. Crystal cards, in my opinion, are some of the coolest cards of all time. My favorite Pokemon card of all time is Crystal Lugia. I have it right here in the graphic. Crystal Lugia right there. On the right, that Lugia card. That is my favorite Pokemon card of all time. It comes from Aquapolis. Now, in Aquapolis, crystal cards were only available in normal holos. This following set, Skyridge, crystal cards were available as holos and reverse holos as well. Aquapolis, only holos. Skyridge, reverse holos, and normal holos. And that Lugia card, for me, the best Pokemon card of all time, without a doubt. That's my favorite card of all time. And then you look at the other cards in that set, Crystal Nidoking, Crystal Kingdra, all of the other awesome holo cards and stuff in the set. If I'm being honest off the top of my head, I don't recall specifically what's from what set of each one, but like there's 2 holo Tyrannitars, there's the holo Feraligatr, I think the Feraligator's Expedition, there's a holo Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres, multiple Charizards, multiple Venusaurs, multiple Blastoises, there's some Typhlosions, obviously a Meganium as well with all the starters, there's a really cool Steelix and Skyridge, there's a Gengar from Expedition, a Gengar from Skyridge, this is the Skyridge Gengar I have on the graphic right there, all kinds of just elite, phenomenal cards. You look at some of the most expensive Pokemon sets of all time right now, Skyridge and Aquapolis are right up there as some of the most expensive ones ever. I personally believe Skyridge is a top 5 set of all time. I'd put it right, like I was mentioning Neo Destiny, the last Neo era set is one of the best of all time. I'd put Skyridge and that are like toe to toe. They're side by side in my opinion. The Skyridge packs, that like emerald green, like it's some of the most, if you like know Pokemon cards, that's one of the most iconic packs. That might, like, obviously like base set is always gonna be the most iconic, but in my opinion, like the I'll say the best, the coolest pack design of all time, like the ones that like gives you chills just looking at it, is the emerald green Skyridge packs. The emerald green Skyridge booster box. I'm like just a Skyridge pack sealed is like, it might be over $1,000 if I'm not mistaken. No, it might be like 600 something. Like, it might not be 1,000, but like, I mean, if I just had a open pack of it, and here's the thing, I should explain this too. So I mentioned the first packs I started opening were Expedition. I used to have a tin of, I saved every Pokemon pack I ever opened, and I had tins. There were empty Skyridge packs, Aquapolis packs, Expedition packs, all kinds of packs from the EX Ruby and Sapphire era, Diamond and Pearl, Platinum. I don't know where that tin went. I have absolutely no idea. If I find it one day, I'm going to make a video just on that, showing all these old packs that I had. But, dude, I had the Emerald Green Skyridge pack. There's certain things, like, you guys know, like, it's called, like, core memories of when you're younger. And one of my, like, core memories of, like, Pokemon growing up was going into there's a toy store in my town. And I always remember after swim practice, my mom would take me to the toy store and she'd buy me a pack of Pokemon cards to get me to do swim. So if I did swim practice, I'd get Pokemon cards. I remember going into this store and seeing so this store, to this day, this is still how they do it. They have one booster box out at a time. Whatever the booster box is of the newest set, they have it open, sitting there. You can buy packs directly out of the booster box. Once that one's done, they move on to the next one. Then that's how they do it. I remember going to the store is still laid out in the same way it is today, walking up to the counter, and on the counter, I remember seeing the Emerald Green Skyridge booster box. I remember that so vividly in my mind. It's like, that might be the earliest memory I have of Pokemon cards, if I'm being completely honest. And that, like, that's so iconic, so cool. And, I mean, I've been talking about this for like 10 minutes now at this point. E-Reader's God tier. The E-Reader sets are if we're talking just as a whole, like, if we were to, like, figure out the average, if we were to give every single set a rating and do the average of every era, the E-Reader era would have the highest rating without a shadow of a doubt. These sets are absolutely perfect. The only thing that moves Expedition lower than Aquapolis and Skyridge is that Aquapolis and Skyridge have crystal cards, which just throw them or catapult them to a level like unmatched by any other set. Like, it is so good. Those are God tier for me, without a shadow of a doubt. Some of my favorite cards of all time are from the E-Reader set. Like, I have Expedition Gengar, Skyridge Gengar, Aquapolis Tyranitar, Crystal Lugia, Crystal Ho-Oh, all these cards, like, out of the cards on my shelves, like, my top tier best cards I love, have the most, like, appreciation for, I think are the coolest artworks, and that I have on display. The majority of them are E-Reader cards. Like, if I were to look at my most prized Pokemon cards in my collection, the majority of them are E-Reader cards. The E-Reader cards are they're just different. And as I mentioned earlier in the stream, for the Japanese sets, there was another E-Reader set. There was Pokemon VS or Versus series. I don't know if it's meant to be called VS or Versus. I've never heard anyone actually say it. Besides, I've read it. It's like Pokemon it's a big capital V and capital S. I don't know if it's meant to be pronounced V or just said VS or pronounced versus, but nonetheless, that was like the Gym Hero / Gym Challenge of Generation 2. It had like Bugsy's Scizor is one of my favorite cards from that set. There's a Team Rocket's Tyranitar that's super cool in there. And every single card in the set, it's just like Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge, are based on either a gym leader or Elite Four member of Generation number 2. And I personally like that set better than all of, or both Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge, because that one included the Elite Four members. Like Lance has cards in that set. I believe it's Lance's team from Pokemon Gold and Silver. It's Dragonite. There's only one Dragonite card. There's Dragonite, Charizard, Aerodactyl, Ampharos, Kingdra. I'm missing one more. And Gyarados. Those 6 cards are in the set. They're all non-holos though, and the artworks aren't the best. It's only because it's Lance that makes them cool in my opinion, but they added in the champion there. I wish they had given us like Lance cards or Elite Four member cards in either Gym Heroes or Gym Challenge, and the Versus series did that. And again, just to emphasize once again why the e-reader era is so good. In English, we never got those cards, but Japanese did, and they're just absolutely phenomenal. But moving on now to the next one. I mean, we have once again another one that I could just go on and on and on talking about. EX Ruby and Sapphire. Now, I mentioned one of the reasons why I believe the base set era is so popular, is so iconic, is because that people have so much nostalgia for that, because that's the first Pokemon sets of all time. That's how so many people got introduced to Pokemon, with these cards. And people look back on them now with so much nostalgia. Now, I don't have that. I wasn't even alive when that set came out, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I was most definitely not alive when that set even came out. So, obviously, like, I have no memories of it, like, opening those packs and stuff when I was younger. Now, if I'm being honest, I don't remember opening EX Ruby and Sapphire era packs, but I have tons of the cards. So many cards from this era, and I mentioned I had that tin with all my open packs in it. The majority of packs in there were the EX Ruby and Sapphire era packs. And let me just say, Gold Star cards are the best shiny cards there are. Better than Shining cards, better than Radiant cards, better than the full art shinies, all the new shiny cards we have today. Like, Gold Star cards are the best shiny Pokemon cards of all time. It's a gold star on the card, like printed on, like it is so awesome, so cool. I have the Rayquaza there because that's the most expensive Gold Star card there is. The second most expensive Pokemon card of all time. Dude, oh, there we go. Oh, wait. Are we back? Dude, the stream keeps reloading and stuff. It's telling me to hurry up because I'm sitting here babbling on about this stuff for so long. But the Rayquaza is the second most. Gold Star Rayquaza from EX Deoxys is the second most expensive Pokemon card of all time, behind only first edition base set Charizard. Then we have that Salamence there. This is Generation 3, my favorite gen. Salamence, one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, my second favorite pseudo-legendary Pokemon of all time. The lowercase EX cards are my favorite special cards we've ever had. Now, I know I said the Gold Star cards are my favorite shiny cards. When I say special cards, I mean like the basic special card for the era. For instance, EX Ruby and Sapphire, lowercase EXs. Diamond and Pearl, level X's. Black and White, uppercase EXs. Sun and Moon, GXs. Scarlet and Violet, back to lowercase EXs, but then Sword and Shield, V cards. These lowercase EXs from EX Ruby and Sapphire are my favorite special cards of all time. Delta Species, some of my favorite cards of all time as well. They made, like, look at that Salamence right there. Look how phenomenal that card looks. The artwork on them, how the Pokemon, like, we got the opportunity to see Pokemon on color palettes. We had never seen them before. And you might think, what do you mean? Like, that doesn't really matter that much. Look how good the blue pops with the Salamence right there, because Salamence is blue. There's a Dragonite, a Delta Species grass type EX Dragonite from EX Dragon Frontiers that looks phenomenal. There's like Electric Rayquaza in that set as well. There's the Dark Charizard, not Dark Charizard, the Dark type Delta Species Charizard Gold Star card from EX Dragon Frontiers. There's a Delta Species Mew Gold Star. Gold, or Shiny Mew is blue. And then the Delta Species card it is a water type. Again, the color of the Pokemon matching perfectly with the color of the card. So many awesome stuff like that. It is just like... And here's the thing, too. I've thought about this before, and I think I'm positive about this. My favorite set of all time is EX Dragon Frontiers. EX Dragon Frontiers to me is the best set of all time. It contained this Salamence EX right here. It had the Delta Species Dragonite EX, Delta Species Rayquaza EX. There was a Delta Species Latias EX, Gold Star Charizard, Gold Star Mew. I mean, Delta Species Tyranitar, the original electric type Tyranitar. We did just get another one in Scarlet and Violet in Obsidian Flames. That's why I like Obsidian Flames so much, because it's kind of like a newer version of EX Dragon Frontiers. You can say it's just like when I look back on these cards, this is what I've the most nostalgia for anything in Pokemon. The EX Ruby and Sapphire era cards, they're so cool. Like all of the Salamence or Sceptile cards, Swampert cards, Blaziken cards are all so cool. I have the Sceptile EX Team Magma versus Team Aqua card, one of my favorite cards of all time. There's the EX Dragon Secret Rare Holo Charizard. I made a whole video on that card on its own as well. One of my favorite, might be, besides Mega Charizard, that might be my favorite Charizard card of all time. Like, there's just so many awesome things in there. And I will note, so the e-reader sets were the last sets made by Wizards of the Coast. For those that don't know, the e-reader was for something on the Game Boy, if I'm not mistaken, like swipe your cards into the game or something like that. But the e-reader era was like the last cards from Wizards of the Coast. And when Nintendo took over at the beginning of EX Ruby and Sapphire with Ruby and Sapphire base, they actually had the e-reader design on the cards a bit. I have one over here, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about with this. So we'll take a here, we'll do this. Here we go. I'll take a normal e-reader card, and side by side with it, I'll show you guys the Nintendo e-reader cards as well. So this Tyranitar right here is a PSA 9 Reverse Holo Tyranitar from Aquapolis. You can see the e-reader design. What I'm talking about is like this stuff here on the edge and the bottom, like the logos down there on the bottom. Like this is the normal e-reader cards. Then when Nintendo took over, they didn't completely get rid of that design. They kept it for a little bit. They would go on to get rid of this, but for the first couple of sets, they had like their own e-reader style. One thing you can see is on the left, right, and top borders, it looks like a normal Pokemon card, but the bottom has that e-reader design. Here's it side by side with the two. I'm trying to make it so you can see. There's them side by side. You can see the Tyranitar. There's like the e-reader on the all down the sides and then on the bottom as well. Then the Sceptile, it's only on the bottom, not on the sides and top or anything like that. So they kept this for the first couple of sets, like EX Team Magma versus Team Aqua. They did it for Team Magma versus Team Aqua, EX Ruby and Sapphire base, EX Sandstorm, and EX Dragon, if I'm not mistaken. Ooh, EX Emerald as well. Then after those sets, they went to just the normal Pokemon cards, like the Salamence you see. You guys don't see it. Like the Salamence you see right there. They just went to like the normal design for the Pokemon cards. And one thing too, I gotta get another card. I gotta show you guys this. This is one of my favorite eras of all time. I gotta show you guys this right here. Then they ended up giving us, like, you know what? What's a good one to show? Here we go. Oh, look how beautiful this card is. Look at how beautiful this card is. So I will note, they didn't do this for every set. So this Salamence right here doesn't have this. The borders on this Salamence card right there are just like normal shiny silver borders. But look what they did for some of them. This is a EX Deoxys from the set EX Deoxys. Look at the borders. See how it's like sparkly? It's like the borders are holo foil as well. And it's like, I will note, so like, you know how a reverse holo card is like the flat holo? It doesn't have any sparkles or anything like that. It's just like the flat holo pattern. That's what the borders look like on the later sets in the EX Ruby and Sapphire era. But for the first couple of ones, when they went back to the normal Pokemon card design without the e-reader design, and they had the EX cards with the silver borders, the borders had the holo foil pattern as well. And it made for some of the coolest Pokemon cards of all time. One thing I'll also note with this set that this card's from, EX Deoxys, this is one of the rarest Pokemon sets of all time. And as a result, it's one of the most expensive Pokemon sets of all time. As you see right there, we have the Rayquaza Gold Star. As I mentioned, second most expensive Pokemon card of all time, second only to first edition base set Charizard. So as a result of that, that would make that set very valuable and expensive. But one detail about this era as a whole is Pokemon wasn't that popular during this time. Pokemon was like still popular, but like compared to the base set era, like when Pokemon first came out, stuff was selling like crazy. They were so huge and popular. This was like a low point, you could say, for Pokemon during EX Ruby and Sapphire. So not that much stuff was printed. And the stuff that was saved, like EX Deoxys, there aren't very many sealed booster boxes out there of that. They're very, very rare. And like typically from what, now I'm not buying booster boxes like to that caliber of that level. Like I don't know the specifics of it. But from what I've heard people say in a variety of different videos and read stuff about, from what I understand, that's the rarest like booster box of all time, like EX Deoxys booster box, because there weren't that many printed. It's a EX era booster box from all the way back in Gen 3, and it contains the second most valuable Pokemon card of all time in it. So like, it's just different level. One thing too, the rarity of Gold Star cards. Now it's so easy to get shiny Pokemon cards. Like I get shiny Pokemon cards when we're doing the openings literally without even trying. Then you look back here, if I'm not mistaken, now, to be fair, actually I say if I'm not mistaken, to be fair, no one knows the exact number. It's estimated that Gold Star cards, like you look at Pokemon booster boxes today, typically with every booster box, you're guaranteed at least one of the rarest rarity of this set. Like you're guaranteed at least one secret rare in every booster box you open. Back then, during EX Ruby and Sapphire, with the Gold Star cards being the big bad secret rare cards, it was 1 in every 2 to 3 booster boxes. Like 2 to 3, like 3, think about that. You have to open 3 booster boxes to just have the chance of getting a Gold Star card. They were so rare, and because of that, they became so iconic, so sought after, and they're some of the coolest Pokemon cards of all time. I only have 2 of them. I have Gold Star Regice and Metagross, 2 of my favorite cards I own, and, like, this is God tier as well. Which goes above, though? Which is better? EX Ruby and Sapphire, so here's the thing. EX Ruby and Sapphire was way more sets than E-Reader. E-Reader was only 3 sets. But EX Ruby and Sapphire contains my favorite set of all time. My favorite set of all time, EX Dragon Frontiers. But E-Reader contains my favorite card of all time, Crystal Lugia. Which do I put above the other? My first Pokemon card memory is of Skyridge from E-Reader. The cards I feel the most nostalgia towards are EX Ruby and Sapphire cards. Don't even know. Which goes above? Dude, this tier list is... Shout out to everyone watching this. We're almost an hour in, and we've put 4 things on the tier list. To everyone watching, thank you so very much. This is what I like doing, dude. Like, just chilling with you guys, like, talking about this stuff. Like, this is my favorite thing to do with Pokemon. Just, like, talk about stuff like this, because I love this stuff so much, dude. It's so cool. Like, if I do my favorite sets or favorite cards, I'm gonna have to do a shelf tour one day and show you guys this. When we hit 1,000 subs, I might show you guys the shelf I have over here. It's a lit shelf. I got some awesome stuff. I'm looking. I have 1, 2, 3 E-Reader cards, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 Ruby and Sapphire era, 5, 6 Ruby and Sapphire, 7, 8 Ruby and Sapphire era. I have more EX Ruby and Sapphire era cards. Gold Stars versus Crystals. I mean, these are side by side for me. I'm gonna put EX Ruby and Sapphire above because I do like Gen 3 better than Gen 2. Dude, I feel weird saying that though, because like, no, I like those EXs. I love Gold Star cards. That's EX Ruby and Sapphire is better. If we were to do the overall average of all the sets in the era, obviously E-Reader would be above because of the fact that it's only 3 sets. But EX Ruby and Sapphire is just so good. It is just absolutely phenomenal. I have to put EX Ruby and Sapphire at the top. Gen 3 is my favorite gen as well. It'll go up there. We did put Gen 3 not as high as a lot of people wanted. Like, it was at the top of S tier for the game tier list. And a lot of people wanted it up in God tier. We'll do it justice by having it be the top one on this list right here. But we're not done. We got a lot more sets to do, with the next one being Diamond and Pearl. Now, I mean, this one's easy for me, C tier. I didn't like these. This set, or this era, is the first era where I have a lot of memories of it. As I mentioned, I feel the most nostalgia towards EX Ruby and Sapphire, because I remember going through the cards and stuff. I had all those old cards in my collection, because I was opening up the packs when I was younger, but I don't really remember opening those packs. I remember going to like Targets and Walmarts and buying the Diamond and Pearl tins off the shelf. Like, look, I moved all the tins, actually. I used to have a bunch of tins right over here, and I ended up moving them all and put them all somewhere else. But like, I have like the Darkrai tins, the Empoleon tins, the Torterra tins, the Infernape tins, the the Rayquaza was until later, but like, nonetheless, like the Diamond and Pearl era, that's the one I remember the most. And like, honestly, I am a Diamond and Pearl hater, if I'm being completely honest. I'll acknowledge that now, but like, it was cool. The level X's were really cool cards. Like, let's be real, they were awesome, but like, I would take the EXs of Ruby and Sapphire over the level X's any day of the week. Like, there's no competing there for me. They didn't have anything really cool like Gold Stars. There was just the level X's, and that's about it. And to be fair, the level X's, like, the artworks were fine, but like, here's one thing I will note. One of the coolest parts about the Gold Star cards, you look at them. Oh, whoa. One of the coolest part about these Gold Star cards, and if I'm being honest, Rayquaza is probably the worst example for this. Look at Rayquaza's hand. See how it's going out of the box artwork? Like, look at Salamence. It's contained within the box of the artwork. Rayquaza and every other Gold Star card goes outside of the box. And again, Rayquaza is the worst example of this, because it's literally just the side of its hand right there. But every Gold Star card, some part of the card is going outside of the actual artwork box. Like, let me show you guys so recently, Pokemon in Celebrations made this Gold Star Greninja card as the promo card for the what are they called? ETBs. Look at Greninja. Top of its head, its hand, its foot. See how it goes outside of this box right here that the Pokemon artwork is normally in. Now, that was the first time they ever did that. That was one of the coolest parts of these Gold Star cards. And like I said, they were one in every 3 booster boxes, and they were of shiny Pokemon. Then Diamond and Pearl just went into the same thing with just the normal level X cards, the normal special cards. Like, I just don't like them that much. They're not the best for me. The artworks, I think most of them are kind of like, they look more like computer, like kind of computerish generated, you could say. Like, you look at like the Rayquaza and stuff up here, like it's like hand-drawn stuff, like legit looking stuff. This looks more like CGI type stuff. I don't know if that's true. That's just kind of like, it looks more like clip art-y to me, if like that makes any sense. Looks more computer generated rather than like hand-drawn artwork and stuff. Like, I don't like the artworks in the Diamond and Pearl era that much whatsoever. The level X's are cool. Like, the borders, it has the sparkly borders. It says X at the top. It's awesome. I will note, the Snorlax level X is my favorite one, but that's not even from the Diamond and Pearl era. Like, the Diamond and Pearl era as a whole is kind of lackluster, and every single card had a level at the top. It's like level 24, level 16, level 82, level 17. Like, they all had levels, and the borders on the rest normal cards were like faded yellow. Like, that's the worst one for sure. That is the worst Pokemon era for sure. And then just slightly above it, I'll put Platinum. Now, the only reason Platinum's going up here in B tier, I mean, Platinum isn't all that different from Diamond and Pearl. But one thing Platinum does is they added more. So like I said, Diamond and Pearl was cool. It had the level X's. It was fine. But there was nothing special in the sets. Every Platinum set had some sort of special secret rare card. And one of the cool things about it wasn't like Ruby and Sapphire, where it was the Gold Star cards as the secret rares. Platinum, it was different for every set. Now, a lot of them did have the reverse hollow shiny Pokemon cards. But also, too, a bunch of them had, like, cool artworks and reprint type stuff of a lot of these cards. Like, the base set Pikachu was reprinted in one of them. Platinum had the legendary birds in one of the sets as well, with these cool artworks that were secret rares. Obviously, it continued on with the level X's, and it also had Cynthia's level X's, and like kind of like how we had with Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge, with each like the Pokemon cards were of different gym leaders and trainers. They did that in Platinum with level X cards. So there's a Cynthia's Rayquaza level X, and it's Rayquaza level X, and there's a C next to it, because, you know what, actually, let me look it up. Let me show you guys. Cynthia's Rayquaza. I'm going to show you guys here the card real quick. I'm going to look it up and show you. Here we go. This is the card I'm thinking of. Right. Oh, look, it's on. Perfect. It's loading. Give me one second. Okay. They gave us stuff like this. Rayquaza level X. Now, the C isn't there for Cynthia. Obviously, Cynthia's down there in the bottom right of the card. The C is there for champion. That's what that C is for, the champion. That's what it means. Then there's Elite 4 member ones. There's Gym Leader ones. All have a different symbol. Once again, like, it has, Cynthia on the card as well. It's a Rayquaza. Like, it is such a phenomenal card. It is so cool. And there was a Garchomp of that. They did, like, Cypress's Charizard as well. There was a lot of really cool cards during the Platinum era. It was awesome. And I will note, I know Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum are both part of Gen 4, but these were different eras in the TCG. Like, Diamond and Pearl, that was from when the Diamond and Pearl games were out. Then when the Platinum games came out is when they moved on, or the Platinum game came out is when they moved on over to the Platinum era in the TCG. And I do like Platinum. I don't like... It's not one I love, though. I know I was just showing that Cynthia card, that Rayquaza, and I was talking all good about it there. But, like, compared to the other ones, like, those are probably my two least favorite. No, they're not my two least favorite. Never mind. I don't like them that much. So that's why they're down there in C and B tier. This one here. Oh, my God. Like, yeah, that's D tier. Talk about just the biggest miss of all time. Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Now, like, the special cards were these prime cards. You see that Ampharos there on the left. Now, I will note, similar, like, so this was the trend with Gen 4. Diamond and Pearl games, we had the Diamond and Pearl era in the TCG. Platinum game, we had the Platinum era in the TCG. Heart Gold, Soul Silver games, we had Heart Gold, Soul Silver in the TCG. The special cards there, they got rid of level X's and gave us these prime cards with that Ampharos. My least favorite special cards of all time. It's literally, every artwork of them is just a super zoomed in shot of the Pokemon's face. It's all like dark and shadowy. I don't like the cards. Like, honestly, the card design is cool. The borders, see how there's like the, like, stars almost shoot, or like it looks like the spikes shooting out of the box of the artwork. The names in gold, like, all that's cool. The artworks on all of them suck. I hate them. Then these Legends cards. Now, when I was making these graphics, I was looking at this Ho-Oh, because they did it for a lot of different legendary Pokemon. Like, Ho-Oh has its own card, Lugia has its own card, but then they did a lot of duo cards. Like, for instance, Kyogre and Groudon are in one card. Rayquaza and Deoxys are one card. Darkrai and Cresselia are one card. But the thing is, it's not one card. There are two cards that make up one card. In case some people don't know what this is, I'll look up a picture of this as well. Pokemon Legends cards. Here we go. Now, I will note the artworks on these things. I mean, absolute top tier. But look at these cards here. Can I zoom in a bit? There we go. Look at these things. Like, so on the left, you have the Kyogre and Groudon. Like, they're both, it's cool, but, like, why are they two cards? Then you have the Rayquaza and Deoxys. Like, the artworks, like, look at the artworks on these things, dude. Like, look at that Darkrai down there. Look how phenomenal, like, that's the most menacing creep. That's the coolest Darkrai card of artwork of all time. Even, like, I hate Dialga and Palkia. Look how phenomenal they look in that card right there. These cards just look so awesome. But why are they two cards? Well, I couldn't have been just, like, to be fair, full art cards didn't exist back then. And as I'm thinking about this right now, you know what Pokemon should do? They should have done this when Diamond and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl came out. Pokemon need to make a set based around the Heart Gold Soul Silver era and fix the mistakes they made. The cards were cool. Like, I mean, the artworks were cool. Like, look at this. This is so cool. Make these full art cards, though. We're coming up with the idea. Imagine if Pokemon did this. They make full art cards of the Legends cards and their tag team cards. Bring back tag team from the end of Sun and Moon. Bring back the Legends cards from Heart Gold Soul Silver. And add it into full art cards, which full art cards didn't exist at this time. They split them up into 2 different cards. Take these artworks, like, look, it fits in like a normal card, just like make it to, it like fits that shape, you could say. Make it fit in just one card, and give us some of the coolest Pokemon cards of all time. That's what these are right here. They are absolutely beautiful. That dark, I might have to buy that dark right now because of how cool it is. And the thing is, too, like, some people might say, oh, well, like, it'd look cool in binders. It wouldn't, though. Because it'd be, like, the way you're looking at it right now, the Pokemon cards are, the way you're looking at it in the image, the Pokemon cards are sideways. In a binder, Pokemon cards go like this. So the artworks in a binder will be sideways. There's no good way to display these things, really. I mean, I don't know if they were viable competitively, like playing the TCG and stuff, if I'm being honest. I don't know anything about how that was back then, but, like, they were a big miss. A big, big miss, in my opinion. They could have been, like, you guys just saw those artworks. Like, look at the Ho-Oh right here. That's the best Ho-Oh artwork we've ever seen. The artworks on those cards, I might go as far as saying those were some of the best. Those are top 3 for special. Am I gonna say this? Do these Legends cards have the best artwork of any Pokemon cards out there? I might say that. Because they look so menacing and, like, cool. Like, that Darkrai, this Ho-Oh, look up the Lugia one. Like, even Dialga Palkia. I hate Dialga and Palkia, and I even admit that card looks really cool. Those are, like, the artworks are, like I said, arguably the best artworks of any Pokemon cards of all time. But they're split up into 2 cards, and that just absolutely ruins them, in my opinion. So that's why the Heart Gold Soul Silver era is down there. Now, we have this next one right here. Call of Legends. Now, I'm going to put it in F tier, because I know nothing's going to... Whoa, what just... We're going to name it Special. Let's put it pink. So down here we have the special sets, or era. Because this era is just one set, Call of Legends. After Heart Gold Soul Silver, and before Black and White began, we had this one-off set. This set wasn't part of Heart Gold Soul Silver, and wasn't part of Black and White. It was on its own, and it was called Call of Legends. A set themed around shiny, legendary Pokemon. One of the coolest sets of all time. The thing with this set is, in the normal set, you had holos of all these different legendary Pokemon, and then every legendary Pokemon that was a normal holo in this set was also a shiny as well. Like, there's, on here we have Rayquaza, Kyogre, there was Groudon, Lugia, Ho-Oh, Entei, Raikou, Suicune, Deoxys, like, so many awesome, awesome cards in this set. And I know for a fact I had that Rayquaza card. I know, there's no doubt in my mind. I remember pulling it. I bought a Sceptile tin from Target. I remember opening it up as soon as I got in the car after walking back from Target through the parking lot. And I remember pulling that Rayquaza. And I've mentioned before, me and my friends battled in a different way. We didn't battle for the TCG rules. We made our own rules. And I remember liking that Rayquaza because it just did straight up 100 damage. I don't know if I traded that thing away or if I just simply lost it. No doubt in my mind, I had that Rayquaza card. 100%. It's the most valuable card in the set, I will note. And I just lost it. And now, one thing I will note, on the graphics here I have for the cards, it shows just the ugly yellow borders from the rest of Gen 4. These cards did have the special holo borders as the Level X cards and some of the EX cards from Ruby and Sapphire. This set is one of the most expensive sets of all time, I think. One of the most sought-after sets of all time. Because it's based on shiny legendary Pokemon. Like, doesn't get much better than that. The artworks are all phenomenal. Honestly, like, I've been wanting to get that Kyogre for a while. And I've mentioned this before. I've been wanting to do a mail day. I'm going to do a mail day video. You got to give me a bit. Because I got to buy all these cards. Like, I'm going to have the V-Star Regigigas from Crown Zenith. I'm going to have this Kyogre from Call of Legends. I'm going to have Bugsy Scizor from VS series. I'm going to have the Pikachu VMAX from Lost Origins. Like, there's so many awesome cards I've always wanted. I've just never gotten. So I'm going to have to do a mad mail day video one day. But the cards in this set are just so cool, so phenomenal, so special. One of the most sought after sets of all time. And again, it isn't part of, it's like a different era. It is like considered its own thing because this was between Diamond and Pearl and Black and White. Most specifically between Heart Gold, Soul Silver and Black and White. But it wasn't a part of Gen 4 with Heart Gold, Soul Silver. It wasn't part of Gen 5 with Black and White. It's literally like the set in between. So that's why it's down here on its own. Because if I'm being honest, this would be like S tier, no doubt. But it's just one set. So I can't rank it up there with the others. So that's why it's in its own special category. But then after that, we had probably the most groundbreaking era of all time in the Pokemon TCG. Black and White. Black and White introduced full art cards, gold star cards, and full art trainers. I mean, come on now. Look at Pokemon today. What are some of those valuable cards? Full art cards, gold cards, and full art trainers. To this day, some of the most valuable cards we look at now stem from the first cards released in Black and White. I will note my luck during Black and White was cracked. As I mentioned before, my two favorite eras are E-Reader and Ruby and Sapphire. I didn't pull a single EX card from the entire Ruby and Sapphire era. I didn't pull a single Gold Star card. I only pulled a Holo Steelix out of the E-Reader series. I didn't pull anything good out of I opened a bunch of packs, like I mentioned. I had a tin full of all the old packs I opened from E-Reader, EX Ruby and Sapphire, and I didn't get anything good. Nothing. Honestly, I don't the odds of that were absurd. I only got one cool card. I think I had a secret rare non-holo Mew. No, actually, no. I know I have a secret rare non-holo Mew because I have it on the front page of my binder. That's like the rarest card I pulled from these early eras. And the only good one I got was the Steelix from Skyridge, which I will note a holo from Skyridge is phenomenal. But I didn't pull any special cards. The EX cards and the Gold Star cards, my favorite cards of all time from Ruby and Sapphire. I didn't pull any of those when I was younger. The best card I pulled back then was that shiny Rayquaza from Call of Legends. But like I said, I lost it. I have no idea where that thing is. And I will note, I'm not someone that loses stuff. You hear so many people say, oh, I wish I still had my old Pokemon cards when I was younger. I have everything. I have absolutely everything I had, except that tin of the packs and that Rayquaza. They might be in the same spot as that Sableye plush I had when I was younger as well. I don't know where it is. One day I'm going to find this and watch it just be sitting in a bin somewhere. There's going to be a tin full of old EX era and Skyridge packs. There's going to be the shiny Rayquaza from Call of Legends and a Sableye plush. And I'm going to make a video on just that saying I found my coolest stuff ever. I don't know how I lost that stuff. But that Rayquaza was the best thing I'd ever pulled. I don't have it though, so I don't really want to consider it. But Black and White, dude, I turned up. I pulled that Iris. I didn't pull any secret rare shiny cards. I will note that. I do wish I did. One thing I'll note too on these secret rare shiny cards, that Hydreigon there. So you have the dark type logo in the top right, in the middle of the card. So where it says the moves and stuff, I wish I had a pointer to show you guys. Here, I'll just show you on a normal card. So on the normal card here, in the middle of here, the move description of the cards, there was the logo of the type or the image of the type in holo foil pattern on the middle of all of these secret rare shiny cards. There's a Blastoise, there's a Charizard, there's a Crocodile, there's a Hydreigon, there's an Empoleon, there's a Superior, there's a Dusknoir. There's so many awesome cards from those. There's so some of the best shiny cards we've ever gotten. They're so cool. They're secret rare, super hard to pull, but super awesome. Then obviously the first full art cards, you had Reshiram and Zekrom in Black and White base. I never pulled any of the Reshirams. Didn't pull any of them. I pulled 2 of the Zekroms, full art Zekroms from Black and White base set. The first ever full art cards, I pulled 2 of them. And then I was opening up tons of packs and stuff during the Black and White era. That's one of the ones that, like I mentioned, the first Pokemon games I ever played were Black and White. And I remember opening up so much stuff from Black and White. I had such a good time collecting all that stuff. And the final set was oh my god, it was not Legendary Collections. What's the last set in the black and white era? It has the Radiant cards. Radiant collection. What is it called? Legendary Treasures is what it's called. And in Legendary Treasures, they had gold Zekrom and Reshiram. Same artwork as the full art Zekrom and Reshiram from black and white base. They brought those things back in full gold variants. I pulled 2 of the Zekroms. I remember one of them was from a tin, but the second one I got, I just bought a single pack from Walgreens. I remember opening it up and pulling that Zekrom. Also, too, in Legendary Treasures, there was a Hollow Charizard. I pulled that out of a tin from Target. Like, I remember opening up, like, dude, I remember it so vividly. My luck was so cracked. Like, black and white was amazing. I had that Iris as well, like I mentioned. Like, dude, black and white was so good to me. And it was so, like, oh, you know what? Ooh, we have a decision here. Black and white or base set? Black and white, you know what? I didn't even include one on here. This is my bad. I should have included 5 cards on here. Black and white had EXs. So Diamond and Pearl era had level X's. So it went EX Ruby and Sapphire, EXs. Diamond and Pearl, level X's. Black and white, back to EXs, although they were uppercase instead of lowercase. Black and white also had, at the end, the Plasma sets. Plasma Storm, Plasma Freeze, Plasma Blast. That might piss some people off, and if it upsets you, I do apologize. You guys know what I'm thinking, right? Am I going to put it above the Neo one? As a whole, like, I will note, I don't think black and white has a set that can stack up against Neo Destiny. I don't. I mentioned Neo Destiny is a top 3 set without a doubt. Black and white doesn't even have a top 5 set, I don't think. But Legendary Treasures is top 10, I will note. But it's not top 5, no doubt. But as a whole, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it between those two. That's going to upset a lot of people, dude. Black and white had, like, we have to look back on what it did for the TCG. It gave us these full arts. It gave us the gold cards. It gave us the full art trainers. Like, this is what started the modern era of the Pokemon TCG. Dude, I have such, like, let me tell you guys this as well. I'm showing you another card. I'm showing you guys another card. The first card I ever chased, people talk about chasing cards. The first one I ever chased was, let me just make sure I have the right, I don't want to say the wrong set here. I believe it's from Plasma Freeze. Yep. First card I ever chased after, where I bought tons of packs and wanted just this one card, was the full art EX Deoxys from Plasma Freeze. I wanted that card so bad. I opened so many packs. Never got it. Never even got close. I opened up all the Plasma packs or sets. I opened tons of packs from all of them. I think the only actual, like, good EX or Plasma EX cards I got were the normal Dialga and full art Dialga. Kind of tying into the idea why I hate Dialga so much. There's all these other, like there was the Lugia from Plasma Storm, the Deoxys from Plasma Freeze. What's the one I pull? All the Legendary Birds had one as well. The one I pull, Dialga. I get its full art and its normal one. So that explains why I don't like that thing that much. But I have a wild story. So, I spent so much time opening up these Plasma Freeze packs. I'm going to Targets, to Walgreens, to Walmarts, all the different places, buying these packs, trying to pull this one card. Shout out Unlisted Leaf. I'd watch all his videos of him opening this stuff as well. Never pulled the card. And then the Diamond or the Black and White era ends, and we move on into X and Y. And at the start of X and Y, as I mentioned, they did what a lot of other eras did, where at the start of the new era, they'll release products such as tins, and they'll include base set of the new era and the last couple of sets of the previous era. So at the start of X and Y, you could get Delphox, Chestnut, and Greninja tins, all with a promo card of the EX of one of the starters, it contained the XY base set packs, and then also contained plasma packs. I believe it was 2 XY base, then a plasma freeze and plasma storm pack, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. I know there was at least 2 X and Y base set packs, and then a plasma freeze pack. Then, me and my brothers go to the store. We all buy one of these tins. We opened so many of these tins. We opened so many of them. But the first ones we opened, I remember we all bought them at Target. Shout out Target. I'm shouting them out a lot here. Came home. I remember sitting at the kitchen table with them, opening up these packs. And my brother, the first plasma freeze pack he ever opened, he pulled the full art Deoxys EX. Dude, like, my jaw was on the floor. I'm like, do you know how, like, this is the first card I ever chased out of a set. He pulled it in the first pack he opened of the set. Like, very first pack he opened, he pulled the card. Now, I tried to trade it to him over the years. It might have been technically mine at one point, but, like, it's his. Like, just look, to justify why I have black and white above diamond, or above base set. Look at this card. The Deoxys EX, the plasma design with all the blue, black, and white is so cool. I don't know if you can tell on camera. The Pokemon, like, Deoxys is textured. Actually, the whole card's textured. The majority of the card's textured. Oh, gosh. I don't know if there's no way the camera can pick up. Dude, there's no way. I'm so sorry. There's no way the camera can pick up the texture design on these cards. It is gorgeous, dude. It is. Oh. There. Elite. And again, I was saying I need to do a mail day one day of all these different cards I want. I want the full art Lugia from Plasma Storm so bad, dude. I want that card so bad. It is so cool. I'll show you guys the card. I'll show you guys the card real quick. Tomato is one of the best tier lists. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate, like I told you guys, like, might go down to my favorite tier list ever. Storm Lugia full art. Let me look up and show you guys. Oh, good Lord. Yeah. This thing it is gorgeous. This card right here. You guys know Lugia is my favorite legendary. Then I wanted that Deoxys first card I ever chased. In Plasma Storm, there was a full art Lugia. Look at this thing, man. The Plasma logo in the background. It's like rain and storms behind it. Like, look how gorgeous that card is, dude. That thing is so cool. Oh, I was going to say, it's only $36. That's damaged. I think nice ones are like a couple $100, if I'm not mistaken. They're rather expensive, but like those cards. Talk about something that's going to become, like, I'm telling, like, some of them are rather expensive now. That era, those Plasma EXs, those are going to be worth so much money one day. Like, I'm telling you guys, people are going to look back on those. Like, everything comes in cycles with this stuff. Like, for instance, we saw that massive explosion of the prices of all the base set and original and Gens 1 and 2 of the Pokemon cards during the pandemic, because you look at it, like, all the people that were super young and remember first playing with those kind of are older now and have their, like, they have, like, real jobs and have the money to go spend on, oh, I'm going to buy those things I had when I was younger and I remember playing with. Same thing's going to happen with black and white with, like, my generation of people. They're going to be like, once they get a little bit older, they're going to look back on this and be like, oh my God, I remember getting those cards and stuff and opening them up. Even my generation, like the generations younger than me, like they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I remember opening those packs and stuff when I was younger. I want those cards so bad. They were so cool. And then they're just going to go through the roof. They're going to be, it's like how Sun and Moon kind of had that overnight explosion with the tag team stuff. Now I know typically, like, you wouldn't be saying that about something that's older than the Sun and Moon stuff, but I'm telling you guys, like, these are such underappreciated cards. They're gorgeous. They are so cool. Black and White did so much for the Pokemon TCG, and it's the foundation of the modern Pokemon TCG we have today, the Black and White era. But then after that, we had X and Y. Now, I mean, X and Y contains my second favorite Pokemon card of all time, Mega Charizard EX. I've told this story before. The first ever booster box I opened up was a Flash Fire booster box. I opened the booster box for one reason only. I wanted that Mega Charizard X EX card more than anything. Mega Charizard X is my favorite Pokemon design of all time. I love that thing so much. Number 1 on my Mega tier list. Number 1 on my starter tier list. Like, Mega Charizard X is perfect for me. And I wanted that card so bad. And so I bought a booster box. My first ever booster box I ever got. Bought it, opened it up. I opened it up for one reason alone. I wanted that Charizard. I go through the entire booster box, didn't pull it. I used to, like, this is one of the reasons why I started this channel again, as I've explained. I used to record this stuff, like, as if I had a YouTube channel, but I never actually did anything with it. All those are, like, deleted and gone now. I wish I could get that video. That'd be so cool. But I was recording it, pretending I had a YouTube channel, and I ended up stopping the recording, and I remember saying, I'll probably not get anything else. If I do, I'll let you guys know in the next video. I said something along the lines of that. Then I go into the last couple packs. I pulled 2 Mega Kangaskhan Secret Rares, a normal Charizard EX, a Magnezone EX, but no Mega Charizard. Come down to the final pack. Still have no Mega Charizard. Open up the pack. All the way, last card. I have 2 cards left in my hand. I'm like, the last card is sitting behind this card right here. Once I pull this card, I will see the last card in the booster box. Like, storybook stuff. Pull away that second to last card. The last card in the last pack of my first ever booster box I opened of Flash Fire. First booster box I ever opened. I got the Charizard was there. This Mega Charizard EX, Mega Charizard X EX was the last card in the last pack in the Flash Fire booster box. That is my favorite memory of all time with Pokemon. It is just that card that's just so cool and iconic to me. The Megas are probably my favorite thing in Pokemon as well. My favorite gimmick, bar none. I love them so much. The designs are so cool. Gave us some phenomenal cards. I love how the English cards have the moves they did. So the Mega Charizard there, the move is Wild Blaze on it. And the name of the move is in Japanese in the artwork. Then the Japanese cards had the move name in English in the artwork. I love that. I will also note the Japanese Flash Fire pack was called, or Flash Fire, the Japanese version of Flash Fire was called Wild Blaze. And so that's one cool detail there I've honestly never even noticed. I literally have a Wild Blaze booster box sitting right next to that Mega Charizard on my shelf over there, and I never even noticed that. It says Wild Blaze on the Mega Charizard card. I just noticed that right now, but those cards are so cool. Some of my favorite cards of all time. Only issue is, like, that was about it for X and Y. Like, they had the break cards, which sucked. They were like those gold sideways cards. Like, they were awful. We had evolutions in there, one of the best sets ever. So many awesome cards in there. We had some super cool full art cards in there as well. Normal Megas, full art Megas as well. Generations was in there too. That was a phenomenal set. That's where we got a Fire type Mega Charizard X card, which is another card I've been wanting to get, still haven't gotten. But X and Y is cool, and I like it. I love X and Y as a whole. I'm honestly pissed we never got a EX Gudra from that set. And again, the special cards were uppercase EXs there. Yo, Redstone, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good one. We have the Diamond, and during Black and White, we had the uppercase EXs. Then X and Y continued on with the uppercase EXs. And we never got Gudra as a special card. The pseudo-legendary of that era, and one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, and one of my favorite pseudo-legendaries of all time. So I've always kind of been a little salty because of that. But X and Y, good. Better than Platinum and Diamond and Pearl and Heart Gold, Soul Silver, without a doubt for me. But it didn't really have anything else besides the Megas. But the Megas were so good, it hard carries for me right there. Then moving on, we have Sun and Moon. Now, Sun and Moon, man. Like, Sun and Moon is interesting because at the start of it, I feel like Pokemon, like, it was popular, but it wasn't crazy. By the end of it, it was crazy. Like, Hidden Fates, like, brought so much hype around it. Like, again, during Sun and Moon, like, I remember opening the Beware GX box, the Lycanroc GX box, the Snorlax GX box at the start of the Sun and Moon era. But I didn't really open up anything else of Sun and Moon. Regrettably so. Because we would end up getting Hidden Fates. I think it's safe to say that's top 3 most iconic Pokemon sets of all time. Like, I mean, it might be number 2, second only to base set. That Hidden Fates is what helped blow Pokemon up. a shiny set in the modern era. The most recent shiny set we had was Call of Legends, and before that, you could say the other shiny set would have been Neo Destiny, the last set of the Neo era, because it had all those shining Pokemon at the end. This set right here in the Sun and Moon era, Hidden Fates, had all these shiny full art cards and the shiny vault cards, the normal Pokemon cards that just contained shiny Pokemon in them with the stars and sparkly background. Like, phenomenal. Sun and Moon also introduced Rainbow Rare cards, which people don't like too crazy. Like in Scarlet and Violet, those are since gone now, but during Sun and Moon, like Rainbow Rare cards, I think they were cool. They did a lot of cool stuff where there was a lot of sets towards the end, like it was around Lost Thunder. I don't know the name of all of the sets, but around Lost Thunder time, they like added in a lot of like Hoenn cards, and there was a lot of cards that were reprinted, like the original Slaking card was reprinted, the original Tyranitar was reprinted, all kinds of like artworks of the original, these Pokemon from Gens 1 and 2, Pokemon from Gens 2 and 3 in their original artwork in the first card that was ever printed of them were reprinted in a bunch of Sun and Moon sets around the Lost Thunder time. Really cool. It was like the later half of the Sun and Moon era. Super, super cool. Again, Hidden Fates is just a different level. Like, Pokemon was like, it was fine. It wasn't like huge as to what it is right now, but like it was popular. But Hidden Fates like gave it like the first big boom right there, and it was super iconic, super popular. And then at the end, you have all the tag team cards. We've seen how some of those have just gone through the roof. Most recently in the last couple of months, like there's the Latios and Latias that make like the heart. That card is shot through the roof in price. Like, these cards are so cool. Cosmic Eclipse, I believe, is the last set in that era. Really, really good set. Really, really cool. And I mean, Sun and Moon, I'm putting it A tier. I'm putting it A tier. GX cards are cool, but I don't really like honestly, like, this one's top heavy. You have Hidden Fates, Elite S God tier set Hidden Fates. Top 5 set of all time. I wonder how many sets I've said top 5 or top 3 sets of all time. Someone's got to count that out and see how many I've said. I think I've kept it under 5. Hidden Fates, top 5 set of all time. Cosmic Eclipse and all those other sets at the end with the tag team stuff. Super, super cool. The tag team stuff, I'll note, isn't my favorite, but it is cool. Like, I do acknowledge how cool it is. One thing, I have a really good memory of this as well. So, there were Dollar Tree packs back then. I don't even know if Dollar Tree packs are still a thing anymore, but you could weigh the Dollar Tree packs. And I had this little scale I ended up buying off Amazon. And me and my brothers went to, this might seem scummy, but we'd go to the Dollar Tree and we'd just stand there. And we kind of like sweet talked the people there to get them to like us. So we went a couple times and just bought a couple of packs because there were $1 packs with 3 cards in them. And like you could spend like $20 to get 20 packs of Pokemon cards. If you were to get 20 normal packs, what's 20 times 5? That's $100. Spent $20 to get 20 packs. Like, super fun to open them up. And we kind of like were super talkative and nice to the people the first couple times we went. So then we went back one day. I'm like, let's weigh these things. So we got a scale, went there. And the people didn't bother us because they kind of like liked us already there. And they had, dude, there was probably 500 packs from the, like, because each set had its own, like, massive display of just tons of these packs. And dude, one day we spent like $80 on packs. We bought 80, no, it wasn't, it might have been like 60. I think we got $60 store packs. So about 60 packs in total. Obviously with tax and stuff, it might have been a little more. We might have only got like 40 to 50, but with tax, it ended up being right around 60 for the price. But nonetheless, we weighed all those packs. We were pulling such good stuff. We were pulling so many GXs. It was of like the Lost Thunder era. It wasn't like of Hidden Fates or all these other crazy sets. There wasn't for that. But there was one tag team set that had it. And I remember I pulled the tag team Rainbow Rare Giratina and Garchomp. It has a move called GG End. One of the coolest Pokemon move names of all time on any card. Like, I have such good memories of us, just there, like, again, weighing the packs is kind of scummy, I will admit, but, like, it was dollar store packs. Like, most people didn't even know those packs existed in the first place. We were flying through those things. I was, like, sitting there weighing them. The memories I have of doing that was so much fun. And opening up those dollar store packs was so much fun as well. Like, what a awesome era. Then in Sun and Moon as well, we had Shining Legends, which is, again, as I mentioned, in Neo at the end, in Shining, or Neo Revelation and Neo Destiny, we had Shining Gyarados, Magikarp, then all the others in Neo Destiny. And Those is where we first saw Shining cards, and we wouldn't see them again until the Shining Legends set during the Sun and Moon era. Another like shiny themed set, you could say, that had like Shining Rayquaza, Jirachi, Volcanion. I think there's a Arceus in there. A bunch of other really cool ones as well. There's a Mew in there, I'm pretty sure. So no, there might not be a Mew in this set. It might have been a promo of something else. Nonetheless, I showed in the video I did of my most valuable sealed Pokemon products. I have the premium collection box from Shining Legends from the Sun and Moon era, and it contains the Shining Celebi and Lugia, which in English were only available as promo cards in that box. Really, really cool era as a whole, but like, it is, like I said, it's top heavy. The best stuff in that era is top tier, elite, god tier level stuff. Although, like, if I'm being honest, outside of like Hidden Fates, the tag team stuff, and like that Lost Thunder era, I don't really recall anything cool or special about any of the other ones. If I'm being honest, like the GX cards were fine. Most of the artworks on them weren't the best. They didn't really get into good artworks until the later sets, like we've talked about so far. So Sun and Moon top of A tier, I think, is a good spot for it. I'll put it above X and Y because it had more than just simply X and Y just had Mega. Sun and Moon had more and contained Hidden Fates, which I will note. Hidden Fates is better than any set in X and Y, in my opinion. Like that set, it's just Sun and Moon's good right there. But now we go to Sword and Shield. And now, honestly, I feel people hated on Sword and Shield a lot. Because people hated on the games. The anime people didn't, Journeys was cool, but, it kind of got, I feel mixed opinions on, if I'm being honest, compared to Alola, people hated the Alola anime. So Journeys anime, I think, ignore the anime. I know the games people had a lot of mixed opinions about. People really didn't so I'll say this. People seem to rather dislike the games, had mixed opinions about the anime. But the TCG, I've been saying this for a little while now. I think this is going to go down as one of the best TCG eras we have ever seen. No doubt in my mind, Sword and Shield era we're going to look back in 10 years from now and be like, that's up there with the best of the best. Look at all the stuff we had in it. All the awesome V cards, the hype around Champions Path, Shining Fates. You had the trainer artwork cards at the end, the alternate art cards, the VMAX cards, the normal V cards, all the different shiny cards. Sword and Shield was Pokemon Go. All these different sets were elite top tier. Here's the thing with I mentioned Sun and Moon is top heavy with the best sets coming at the end and the other sets not being that great. Beginning to end of Sword and Shield, banger after banger after banger after banger. There were some not so great ones, like Sword and Shield base, I really like because it contains that Snorlax and the Lapras, which, speaking of that, now I don't know if I've posted this before. It might be it might be a short on my channel and also a TikTok on my TikTok and a reel on Instagram Reels. I pulled the Rainbow Rare, VMAX, Snorlax. You guys know I love my boy, the fatty Snorlax. And then Sword and Shield is when I got back into Pokemon cards. So during, obviously, X and Y, I said I opened it up. But I opened up at the beginning of X and Y. And towards the end of X and Y, I didn't really buy much stuff and wasn't really collecting. I still, followed the stuff, but I wasn't actively buying and opening stuff. Sun and Moon, like I mentioned, I opened a couple things at the start, but, I didn't really open, I mentioned myself opening up those Dollar Tree packs. That was during the Sword and Shield era. That wasn't even during Sun and Moon. But the Sun and Moon era, I didn't really open anything at all. During Sun and Moon, I didn't open anything at all. It wasn't until after the fact that, once Sun and Moon was gone, during Sword and Shield, and then I'd see stuff on the shelf, I'm going to get this. So I opened up Sun and Moon then. Sword and Shield's what got me back into collecting Pokemon cards. I've always, like I said, I've always had my cards, I've always had my collection, I've always had them out on display, but I wasn't actively buying more cards. Then for whatever reason, I decided one day, I'm like, I'm going to go buy a Pokemon tin. Because I saw some videos and stuff of Sword and Shield base, it was a new generation, I should get something. So I go to the store with my brothers. And I had been looking at the cards in the set beforehand. The card I want the most is the VMAX, Rainbow Rare, Lapras. That was the card I wanted the most out of Sword and Shield base. So I go to Target, buy a Grookey tin, because as I mentioned before in another video, when Sword and Shield first came out, Grookey was my favorite starter. So I buy the Grookey tin. I remember we were at Target in the Pokemon aisle, because the Pokemon cards at my Target weren't in the front. There were some in the front, but there were also some in the Pokemon aisle, in the toy section. We go over there. There's all the tins. I remember they were stocked full of these starter tins at the start of Sword and Shield. And in the front, there was a Grookey one. I grabbed the Grookey one in the front. I'm like, I'm going to get this one. And they're like, oh, really? You're going to pull a Lapras out of that one? I'm like, no. This one doesn't have the Lapras. I swear on my life this is what happened. I put that one back and grabbed the one that was right behind it. So the second one in the row. I'm like, this is the tin that has the Lapras in it. Go check out, come home. As soon as I get home, we go to open it up. Like, oh, are you going to get the Lapras? Third to last pack. I'm like, this is the pack with the Lapras. Or third to last pack. Third pack of the tin. There's 5 packs in the tin total. Third pack, I'm like, this is the one with the Lapras. Like, oh, okay. Open it up. Card trick. Boom, boom, boom. Reverse hollow. Rainbow Rare Lapras. VMAX Rainbow Rare Lapras. Dude, that's like, again, no, that might be a better memory for me than pulling the Charizard. That is just, I mean, the excitement and joy I felt there, it hooked me back. And like, that's the reason I, like, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't even have made this channel in the first place. The reason why I made this channel is because I want to capture moments like that. So I have that stuff recorded, so I always have it there to see it as like a memory and stuff. Like, obviously I have it in my head, but like, it's a different level to record this stuff and everything. And like, that's why I made this channel. I made the channel during the Sword and Shield era. Like, that pulling that card is what hooked me, and I started just all in with Pokemon once again. I never managed. I really wanted the VMAX Charizard from Darkness Ablaze. Never managed to pull that. My luck throughout Sword and Shield was really, really good. I think it's safe to say. I pulled a gold secret rare out of Vivid Voltage, Battle Styles, Crown Zenith, Pokemon Go, Champions Path. Sword and Shield's where I got the claim as the gold card king. Dude, I pulled just about every set I opened up of Pokemon Sword and Shield, I pulled a gold card out of it. My luck was absolutely absurd during Sword and Shield. Some of my favorite cards in that era, obviously, we have the Charizard VMAX, the Shiny Charizard VMAX, I should say, from Shining Fates. You have the Moonbreon VMAX, the most expensive Pokemon card you could pull out of packs right now. That one from Evolving Skies. Giratina V alternate art from Lost Origin, and then the red Pikachu VMAX. Trainer Gallery art as well. One of the cards I want to get so bad. That's one of my favorite cards of all time, and I don't even have it yet. I need to get that card. That's a top 5 favorite card of all time for me. I need to get that thing myself. Again, that'll be in that crazy mail day video that'll come one day. But Sword and Shield was so good, and it's the reason Pokemon is at the level it's at right now. Sword and Shield, we had Sword and Shield base, and then you had Rebel Clash is the second one. And the hype around Pokemon was huge. And the hype around Pokemon was huge because of the old stuff. People were, during the pandemic, were buying up all these old cards from the original base set line. Like base set, Jungle, Fossil, Team Rocket, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge. Prices for that stuff was blowing up. And also doing the Neo era. Those things like Gens 1 and 2 were blowing up. So Pokemon was like at an all-time high. But then the Pokemon Company decided to release Champions Path, and it blew the Pokemon TCG up to a magnitude unlike anything it had ever seen before. Every store across the country of America, that I live in the US, I don't know about the rest of the world, but I know every store across the country that contained Pokemon cards didn't have Pokemon cards to sell because they were all sold out. People were lining up in the stores as the vendors were stocking the shelves to buy the cards. Stores like Target and Walmart had to limit customers to how much they could buy. It was absolutely absurd. Champions Path dropped in the peak of Pokemon, and it gave us a shiny Charizard and a Rainbow Rare Charizard VMAX. It was unreal. It was unreal. And looking back on it, Champions Path honestly is the Burning Shadows of Sun and Moon. For those that don't know, Sun and Moon, Burning Shadows. See that Charizard GX shiny one? It was that Charizard, but it's just a Rainbow Rare. And that was the big chase card from that. Then Sword and Shield kind of had the same thing once again with Champions Path, because if we're being honest, Champions Path kind of sucks. The only good part about it are those Charizards. Dude, I remember the day that released, I went to so many stores looking for that. I made a video just talking about my story of getting those packs. I spent all day driving around to stores, didn't find anything. It's like 4 o'clock. I see someone post on Reddit saying, if you haven't found anything in your normal stores, go to Barnes & Noble. Me and my brothers go to Barnes & Noble, and we find 2 Champions Path ETBs, bought both of them, opened them up. That's where I pulled the Gold Suspicious Food Tin. They pulled, like, one of my brothers pulled a Duraludon V. There was Dreadnought V, and then Gardevoir Full Art V. Like, dude, the memories I have during the Sword and Shield era are unmatched. It is so good. Then my luck at the end, man. Pokemon Go, the first Pokemon Go opening I did on the channel, pulled the Radiant Charizard, Shiny Charizard card, unreal. Sword and Shield, I opened up the Regieleki V-Box. I pulled the Dialga Gold card. Absolutely couldn't believe it. First box I opened of that set. Absolutely insane. Pulled one of the rarest cards in the set. And then also, too, during Sword and Shield is when I opened what I believe to be the best Pokemon tin ever caught, or best Pokemon tin opening ever caught on camera. I pulled the Giratina Gold V-Star card, the best card in the set. I had a pack with a Radiant Charizard and Rayquaza V in the same pack. Same pack. Shiny Charizard and Special Rayquaza card. I had Shout Out Wailord, a non-hollow Wailord card. But then a Full Art Trainer. That Full Art Trainer is, I think, one of the top 6. I think it's the 6th most expensive card. It might be the 5th most expensive card in the set. And number 1's obviously the Giratina. Like, that tin was insane. That's my most, if you haven't seen that yet, go on my channel, sort videos by most popular. That's the most viewed video on my channel. That was absolutely insane. And Sword and Shield I'm putting above. No. Yeah. I'm putting Sword and Shield at the top of S tier above Neo. Because of what Sword and Shield did. Again, I said Black and White's there above normal base set line because of what Black and White did for the Pokemon. Do I bump Black and White down? You know what? I'm going to move Black and White down. I'm going to move Black and White down below because I can't have that many. I can't have 3 sets above the original base set era. That's so iconic and popular. And again, those cards still hold up and are super cool to this day. It's not like they're only cool because they're the original ones. No, those cards still look really, really cool compared to stuff even today. Black and White I'm going to put below the base set era. I do like Neo most definitely still above, more than the base set era. But then Sword and Shield, dude, is just... Sword and Shield is, like, I think 10 years from now, I'm going to put Sword and Shield up here. I think in 10 years from now, Sword and Shield is going to be probably up there, if I'm being completely honest. But right now, it is not there. I'm putting it in S tier. At the top of S tier, to be exact. But now we have Scarlet and Violet. Now, we are early in the Scarlet and Violet era. We've only had, 5 sets released? How many sets have come out for Scarlet and Violet? Scarlet and Violet has given us, obviously, Scarlet and Violet Base. We've had Scarlet and Violet Base, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, Scarlet Violet 151, and Paradox Rift. Yo, I'm pretty good. 5 sets. I was right. We've had 5 sets so far at Scarlet and Violet. We're within little past the first... No, we're not even a year into the TCG of Scarlet and Violet. Because this TCG, I believe, Scarlet Violet Base came out February 2023, right? Let me check. Oh my god, no, March. Scarlet Violet Base was March 31st? We're not even close. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, not even December. We're 8, because it's December 1st. We're 8 months in to the Scarlet and Violet era in the TCG. And I'm already putting it up there in S tier. I love this era so very much. Like, the amount of joy I had when I saw that the lowercase EX cards were coming back. I think that might be my second most viewed video on my channel. The video I was talking about the lowercase EX cards coming back. Dude, some of the most joy I've ever felt throughout all of Pokemon. Seeing those things come back, absolutely top tier. Then you have the terastallized EX cards. I mean, I have number 1 up here, EX Ruby and Sapphire. What's one of my reasons for saying that? I like the lowercase EX cards, my favorite special cards of all time, and I love the Delta Species cards. What's cool about Delta Species cards? Delta Species cards are Pokemon cards with a different typing. Salamence isn't a water type. Spoiler, he is a dragon type. Dragon flying, if I'm not mistaken. Salamence right there, water type card. Look at that Charizard. Lowercase EX, dark type card. Because of terrestrialization, you can be any type, and they make the terrestrialized cards of these different of the cards of the different type. Like, dude, it's so cool. It's so cool. They make the cards look crystallized. I will note, like, the fact that they're coming out of the artwork, I know I said I didn't like with the level X's, but, like, at this point now, they did it with the level X's. They did it with the uppercase EXs in black and white. They did it with the uppercase EXs in X and Y, and obviously they're going to bring it back now. They're not going to move away from that, so it makes sense. But one cool detail, you can't tell on this card, but if you look closely, you look at the artwork, so it looks like you mainly see the Charizard in the box of the artwork. If you look closely in the middle area of the card where it says the moves, very, very faintly, you can see the rest of the body of the Pokemon. When I saw that detail, it was my first Paradox Rift opening. My jaw was on the floor, dude. It was absolutely unreal. I thought it was so cool and so awesome. These cards are just... they're just different, man. They are so cool, so awesome. Some of my favorite cards of all time already. And we're only, like I said, 8 months into this era of the TCG. We have the special illustration art cards. They are so cool. I have on here, obviously, the waifu card as well, because those tend to be the most valuable cards from these sets. I'm not the biggest fan of the full art trainers myself, but the other cards in this era are just... they're so cool. I'm so excited to see what else they do, because one thing we see with most eras, like, they end up giving us something else towards the end. For instance, Sun and Moon at the end with the tag team cards. Sword and Shield at the end with the trainer art cards. What are they going to give us towards the end of Scarlet and Violet? I am so excited to see what we end up getting. I'm so excited to see for Paldean Fates coming up soon, the shiny set of this era. We had Shining Fates, or Hidden Fates in Sun and Moon, Shining Fates in Sword and Shield, and in Scarlet and Violet now, we're getting Paldean Fates. So excited to open that set up. It is just, it's, oh my god, one thing I forgot to mention. Another reason to justify why I have Sword and Shield. I'll mention this at the end when I go through it, when we go through the recap and everything. But Scarlet and Violet for me so far has been an elite top tier set or era. So far, dude, it's, I mean, we're barely into this thing and we're already up in S tier. That thing is only going to be going up from here. I love it so much. I think it's so cool. Love the special illustration art cards. We had the Obsidian Flames and the Flames pack opening. That might be my favorite pack opening I've ever done. That's my favorite pack opening I've ever done. Obsidian Flames and the Flames, the 3rd edition of it, when we pulled the special illustration art Terra EX Charizard. That's all I need to say, honestly, for why I have Scarlet and Violet up there. That will climb up by the end of Scarlet and Violet. I mean, if I'm being honest, at the rate Scarlet and Violet's going right now, by the time Scarlet and Violet's done, that's going to be top of S tier, arguably God tier. So here's what I should say. If we get, like, Gold Star, if they do something mad, like, if we get Gold Star cards, or if they do something like reprint the Legends cards as just normal single cards, or, like, do something in some insane throwback thing towards the end of Scarlet and Violet, that is going to be God tier without a doubt. I'm so excited to see what else is to come for the Scarlet and Violet era, and I absolutely just love it so much already. It is so cool and so awesome. But that is the tier list. This is, I think one of, if not the shortest tier lists we've ever done, yet it was, I think, one of the longest tier list streams I've ever done. This stream highlights what I like to do when it comes to creating this content about Pokemon. I could go on and on talking about these old sets and these old cards and stuff. This is what I love the most in Pokemon, the cards. I love looking back at the old eras, the old sets. Like, dude, it's just, I love this stuff so much, man. It is so cool. To everyone that's been watching this stream, that may be watching the replay of the stream, I thank you all so very much. You guys are all the best. Let's run through a recap here of the tier list right here. At the bottom, in Special, we have Call of Legends. Now, I note, Special isn't the lowest. It's just its own separate set. And the reason why I have it there is because, or its own separate era, because Call of Legends is one set that is technically its own era. It's not part of Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or Black and White. It is on its own, and I didn't want to include it with the other ones over here because it is just simply one set. So it's down there on its own in the Special tier. Then D tier at the bottom, we have Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Prime cards, I don't really like the artworks of them. Then the Legends cards, despite having arguably the coolest artworks we've ever seen on Pokemon cards, they're 2 cards. Like, they should be just 1 card. Having them 2 cards absolutely ruins it. And it's not even like they're 2 cards that could fit in cool in a binder. Like, they'd be sideways even in the binder. It's just not the best. Diamond and Pearl, level X's, They're fine, but I personally just don't love them. Platinum takes Diamond and Pearl and just simply makes it better. They keep the level X's. They give us stuff like the Elite Four members, Gym Leaders, and Champion level X's. All the Platinum sets had really cool secret rares as well. Platinum is a really solid era. They're just a really solid era. I'll just leave it at that. Up in A tier then, at the bottom we have X and Y. I'm a little biased towards X and Y. I could understand if someone wants to put Platinum above X and Y or flop those two. I'd completely understand that. But for me, X and Y was the first booster box, or X and Y Flashfire was the first booster box I ever opened. I love Megas more than anything else in Pokemon. Mega Charizard X is my favorite design Pokemon of all time, and obviously it's in the X and Y era. Flashfire is one of my favorite sets of all time. I love all the cards. That Full Art Alakazam is one of my favorite cards ever. Oh, you know, I should have put the shiny Mega Gyarados. That would have been a sick one to put on there too. But X and Y had tons of awesome, like, full art. I didn't mention this when we were going through X and Y originally. A lot of the sets had, towards the later half, they had these full art cards. You know, I mentioned they didn't have anything else. They did have something else. I can't believe I forgot this. Towards the end of X and Y, we had... This was like in the break era, like with the break cards, I should say, which those sucked, by the way. But the saving grace of those sets is at the end of the sets for the secret rares, you had full art Pokemon secret rare cards that contained multiple Pokemon in the picture. So, for instance, there is I believe in one of the break sets, there's a secret rare Gyarados that has a shiny Gyarados card on it. In the card, it's a shiny Gyarados that has like a Greninja and like a Magikarp or some other water-type Pokemon on the artwork. There is a secret rare Mewtwo that has all kinds of Pokemon in the background. Like, I think one of the cards, there's like a secret rare Alakazam in whatever the Alakazam set is that has a Lugia in the background. Like, there's all these cool secret rare full art cards that have tons of Pokemon in the artwork, and they're just so cool. But X and Y have there just simply because Megas alone. Sun and Moon, phenomenal set. Absolutely love that thing. Sun and Moon, or the whole era, I love this stuff that came at the end. But if I'm being honest, the stuff that came at the end is so good, but the rest of it is just kind of meh. I mean, Burning Shadows is only good because of the Rainbow Rare Charizard, but then you have Hidden Fates and the tag team stuff. I personally don't love the tag team stuff too much, but I can't acknowledge how cool that it is. This is what introduced Rainbow Rares as well. And also to Hidden Fates, one of the most iconic Pokemon sets of all time. Then up in S tier here, we have Scarlet and Violet at the back. I mean, lowercase EXs. Love terastallizing cards. Love the special illustration arts. This full art trainers we've been getting are really cool as well. This set will most likely be top of S tier, if not God tier, by the time Scarlet and Violet is all said and done. Then Black and White, I mean, created the modern era of the Pokemon TCG. Full art cards, full art trainers, gold cards, brought back EXs, super cool shiny cards like Black and White was absolutely phenomenal. And my pack luck during the Black and White era is where I first became cracked when it came to opening packs. Pulled 2 of those gold Zekroms. I couldn't believe it. Then the original base set era. I mean, a lot of people probably would have that up in God tier. For me, I don't have any nostalgia for it because I wasn't even alive when that stuff came out. I never opened that stuff up when I was younger, so that is bias on my part. To anyone watching this, that's probably gonna be hating. I will note, I completely understand if people want base set at the very top or in God tier. I can understand that. For me, with my personal tier list, I never opened up base set and all those sets, Jungle, Fossil, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge, Team Rocket. I have never opened those sets when they were out, when it first came out. So I have no memories or nostalgia towards it because of that. I can love and respect, though, the cards, what it did for the Pokemon TCG, and how those cards, to this day, are still some of the coolest Pokemon cards of all time. But in the Neo era, I do love slightly better because it takes everything that the base set era did, and I think just steps it up. I love the Lugia card. Lugia is my favorite legendary. I love all the other holo cards in Neo. Then Neo Destiny, the last set of the Neo era, is one of the best sets of all time with dark cards, light cards, and shining cards. It included the Shining Gyarados there in Neo Revelation. Just absolutely phenomenal era. Then Sword and Shield, like I said, I mean, when we look back like 10 years from now or something like that, we're probably going to put this up in God tier. Was what blew Pokemon up to a magnitude no one could have ever even imagined. Pokemon was big, but it took it to a completely different level. Contained some phenomenal cards, such as the cards from Champion's Path. It contained the VMAX cards, Shining Fates, Alternate Art cards, Moonbryon, trainer gallery cards, so many phenomenal cards in there. And the one thing I wanted to mention, I forgot to mention about Sword and Shield. So Sword and Shield, we had Shining Fates in English, and in Japanese was Shiny Star V. I bought a bunch of booster boxes of the first edition Shiny Star V booster boxes. Me and my brothers were all opening them up. Each booster box of Japanese guaranteed one full art shiny card. I pulled a VMAX Shiny Grimmsnarl. One of my brothers pulled full art Shiny V Rillaboom. My other brother. In the last pack you open up. Last card, last pack. I mean, it's like deja vu with me and Flashfire. He called the pack. He's like, this is the pack that's going to have the shiny Charizard V. He pulled it. I have it sitting on my shelf over there, side by side with the Charizard I pulled from Obsidian Flames. Like, I vividly remember opening that as well. One of my best memories I've ever had in Pokemon. Like, that was, in English, was in Champion's Path, which we opened Champion's Path. I explained my love for that, set in the story of how I got the products for that, and we didn't get anything in Champion's Path, but we made it up in Shiny Star V with pulling arguably one of the best cards from the entire Sword and Shield era, and arguably the card you could credit to make Pokemon blow up to the magnitude that it was with that shiny Charizard V. But then in God tier, I mean, the e-readers. The e-reader sets. Expedition, Aquapolis, Skyridge. Skyridge, the coolest Pokemon artwork for any set, the Emerald Green. Aquapolis contains my favorite Pokemon card of all time, Crystal Lugia. Everything about these cards, I just absolutely love and adore. Then only above that, we have EX Ruby and Sapphire. My favorite era of all time. Gen 3 is my favorite generation of Pokemon. These are the cards I have the most nostalgia for. And I think, again, I don't have too many memories of opening up EX Ruby and Sapphire era packs. I remember most opening up Diamond and Pearl as like the first stuff I really remember opening. But EX Ruby and Sapphire I have the most nostalgia for. My favorite special cards are the lowercase EX cards. Favorite shiny cards are the Gold Star cards. Like, Delta Species cards are so cool as well. My favorite set of all time is EX Dragon Frontiers. One of the last sets of the Ruby and Sapphire era. I believe the second to last set of the EX Ruby and Sapphire era. And it's just different, man. It's just so cool, so special, so awesome. And that is the tier list. That is the tier list right there. I mean, again, the smallest tier list we've done, but it made the longest stream I think I've ever done. And I can feel my voice, dude. This is the longest I've ever gone. Like, I've barely stopped talking. Like, normally when we're doing the shiny hunts and stuff, you know, I stop talking here and there and go quiet for a little bit. I haven't stopped talking for the past 2 hours straight. I got to stop talking. That is all for this stream today. I thank you all so much for watching. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, Shiny Munchlax video will be going up. And then on Sunday's the day we begin the Shiny Nuzlocke and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But that is all for today. That is the tier list. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on it. Let me know what you think I should do next for another tier list. This is all we have for here today. This is my favorite tier list I've done. This might be my favorite stream I've ever done. Dude, I had so much fun talking about this stuff, man. I love this stuff so much. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch. Be sure to like and subscribe. And this is the PokePlaya.